Ramattra is now unlocked in Overwatch 2 competitive, and you're here because you want to play him, but you don't want to throw all of your games, so let's get started. So Ramattra is one of those heroes that is kind of a jack of all trades. He can deal out a lot of damage, but also had a shield, and can also crowd control and make a lot of space. So let's go over all his abilities quickly before the guide on how to actually use them. In his Omnic form, his primary fire is a stream of small, high damage projectiles. They do massive critical hit damage, but are very hard to hit from a far range. They also have no fall off. He also has a shield which can stay up for a few seconds when used, and along with those abilities he has a Ravenous Vortex which slows enemies, does a small amount of damage, and brings any flying or jumping targets out of the air. He can also transfer into Nemesis mode, which gives him more armor and HP and allows him to use Pummel, which is basically just a huge punch. It has pretty short range but does high damage and goes through shields. He also has a block in this mode which can be used on and off forever, which negates almost all damage. Nemesis mode lasts around 8 seconds at the time of this video. So first, let's go over his Omnic form and how to get value out of his abilities. Like I said before, his primary fire is a projectile weapon which does a lot of damage, and it has no fall off, but that doesn't mean that it is easy to aim at far away targets. I'd recommend shooting at close quarter squishies to get value out of this ability, because it doesn't do enough damage on things like a tank unless you're really just dinking him over and over again, and you will just be wasting your time shooting a target like Orisa or Hog that's just going to get healed up. Next is how to use his shield. Now, many have the impression that you can use this the same way you use a Sigma shield, but that is not the case. This is a lot more of an, oh, there's an ability coming my way, let me block this really quick, a way to deny heals, ultimate, or make space. You get my point. It can also be used to close distance between you and an enemy, which is going to be the most effective use of it. This shield has 1000 HP and is really not comparing to something like a Sig shield that can be put up and down, or especially Rhine, which is just has a ton more health. It stays up in Nemesis mode too, so you can place it, then use it to shield yourself and do damage. The cooldown is long, but it's very good for taking space if used correctly. And lastly, in the Omnic form is Ravenous Vortex, which is Ramatra's slow ability. This ability has the conception that it's used to pull down Pharah, but in reality it kinda sucks at doing that. So this is best used on things like canceling a Diva booster, a Winston jump. If you're chasing a Lucio that's trying to speed away, throw this at the Lucio and it will work. And just chasing down low health targets in general. So with Ramatra's last ability, it puts him in a new form which we discussed before called Nemesis mode. In this mode, he has his Pummel and his block. Now when it comes to Pummel, this is a very close quarters ability, and as you can see on the screen, there is really not a lot of range to this ability, but it does go through targets and shield, which is nice. Since it pierces, it does a hefty amount of damage to squishies. This is good for a finisher, but I'll get more into technicalities of comboing your abilities later in the video. His second ability in Nemesis mode is his block, which is, to be honest, very mid. You're going to be wanting to use block when you are very low in Nemesis form, or using your ultimate, which I'll get to later when I talk about that as well. The reason the block is bad when you're in normal Nemesis mode is you are kind of just a sitting duck, especially with no healers. If you are alone, you can't really do anything while using it, so because of that, it is only to be used when you really need it to save yourself. This block is not a Doomfist type of block where you get something out of doing it. It literally just keeps you sitting in the enemy's sight, letting them shoot you, and there is not a cooldown for this as well, so you can use it on and off, so just don't hold it in a fight, you're wasting your time. So that's his Nemesis mode, but let's get to the craziest part of his kit, his ultimate. Now his ultimate lasts forever. Yeah, you heard me right, forever. But it is very easy to waste, so here's how to use it. Ramatra's ultimate latches onto every enemy within a certain range around him, and as long as there's at least one target, the cooldown will not reset. It is broken by shields, and it's basically a fight winner if you use it correctly, but like I said, it's very easy to waste. This is a great stall ultimate, especially if the enemy needs to touch the objective, but if you do just run into a fight by yourself, press Q and expect to win, you will get shredded while using this, so that is something to take into account, is that it is very easy to waste, and even though it is a fight winner ultimate, it's not one of those where you can just press Q and win. You still have to be smart with it. Now that we've gone through most of his abilities, let's start talking strategy and how to use them more effectively. Basically, Ramatra's do's and don'ts. So like I said before, using his shield before turning into Nemesis mode is a really good tactic since it stays there. Having that extra protection is really good, and by the end of your Nemesis mode, if you time it up correctly, you will have the shield again. Along with that, if you shield then Vortex to slow the enemy before you switch into Nemesis, that is a great combo because you can lay some shots on them, slow them down, and then finish them off in Nemesis mode with the pummel. Another tip that is great for staying alive is using Nemesis mode, and then after that ends, popping your ultimate. It extends the period of Nemesis mode, and then by the time that is over, you are able to use Nemesis mode again and all of your other abilities, so it's great for space making, it's great for doing damage. It's just an overall great combo. Ramattra is not Hog, he's not Rein, he's not Orisa. He can't tank these high damage abilities like these other tanks can. He is very much a utility tank, but he can just make as much impact as those heroes if you play him correctly. Playing Ramattra is like you're stepping on eggshells. Now, this is what kind of makes him mid, but you really do have to use your brain to bait out enemy abilities and then use yours to punish the absolute shit out of them when they do. The next one is a no-brainer, but don't be afraid to unequip and switch modes like close. Say you switch into Nemesis mode and then you kill all close range targets. Get out of that mode so the timer will go down quicker on the cooldown for his abilities. You don't need to stand there and block. I see this a ton when lower level players I see are playing Ramattra in quick play. You see them just blocking instead of just transferring out of their Nemesis mode when they can save cooldown time, which is just not smart. And on to block, stop using block as much. It doesn't do anything for you besides saving you a small portion of time. At least at the time of this video being made, it just leaves you like a sitting duck. It's probably his worst ability. Remember, the main thing you want to do is to survive as Ramattra, so just sitting there and letting the enemy shoot you isn't going to do you any good. Using these combos to get kills, stay alive are really helpful, and also if you guys have any tips that I didn't mention, comment them below. Now, what comps does Ramattra do well in? What is he strong with and what does he suck with? Heroes like Lucio are going to complement Ramattra very well because Lucio enables him to get in and out quick, as well as rushing in and brawling with the enemy team since Ramattra is close range. Along with that, Kiriko is a crazy support as well. Her cleanse can basically just pocket Ramattra to keep him alive from any anti-sleeps and stomping the enemy team. This obviously goes to say he is a lot better in close quarter maps, say like King's Row, where there's not a lot of high ground, compared to something like Junkertown or basically any push map where there's long alleyways and wide open spaces, where his damage dealing abilities are going to be very hard to use because he's such a close range hero. Ramattra low-key sucks at getting around the map as he has no way to get to high ground either. He's kind of clunky but squishy, which is a big disadvantage. Because of this, heroes like Hog are just going to shred through him and you can't do anything about it. Honestly, to close this off, Ramattra is kind of mid, but if you have good team coordination, he can work very well. It all comes down to counters. Ramattra is one of those heroes where it's very situational against certain heroes and only good on certain maps. So yeah, he's a very middle of the pack tank, and hopefully he gets a buff soon because he is kind of underwhelming, but maybe if you use these tips, you'll do a little bit better. If you guys enjoyed this guide and want more, please hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot, especially to a small channel like me. I hope you guys can use these tips to rank up and be a better Ramattra. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.